Hello, my name is Ron Reed in Tokyo. The following news items are owned by Fox, CBC, Yahoo News. These are some of the stories that we are following.
Or doing what it does. Even basic facts about Ukraine now disputed in Russia. Take the location of Ukraine's president. He says he's hunkered down in Kyiv. Most of the world believes him. But in Russia, a different story. People there told he's fled to neighboring Poland. For Vladimir Putin, controlling the narrative inside Russia, key to justifying his war.
Я за Путина. Я поняла. Даже не буду смотреть фотографии. Ну вот это вот ничего этому не я.
But not all Russians are buying the Kremlin story.
Мне тоже как бы не нравится вся эта ситуация. Не думайте, что как бы нам это все нравится.
Russia has now made it illegal to disagree with its version of this story. A journalist can be jailed for 15 years just for straying from the Kremlin's narrative. They can't even call it a war. That after the country had cracked down on independent journalism.
Media do not exist anymore in Russia. There's no such thing as media in Russia anymore. There's only propaganda.
Access to Western media already banned in Russia. Now Facebook has been shut down too. Just like during the Cold War, the BBC is turning to shortwave radio to reach the Russian people directly.
Ordinary people in Russia turning to these trusted voices from their own past to try and work out what is going on today, realizing that their government is not telling them the truth.
Now, major Western news organizations are going silent in Russia, a void for Russians searching for the truth about the war in Ukraine, one Russia's government is all too happy to fill. Aaron Collins, CBC News, Calgary.
There's another story we're following here. This is the one that has people who are enlisted into the war. So we're just going to show you a bit of that. And this is an interview that was with CBC with some of the people who have volunteered. And this is up to 30,000 people have volunteered. So let's look at this story.
That you were involved in the resistance against Russian forces. What can you tell me about what that work entails?
About my role?
Yes.
I'm in special unit of one of the Ukrainian intelligence agencies, and we, I believe, are engaged in the most important part of this confrontation.
What does that mean?
Means that we are going to win this war, and we are responsible for conducting, that special measures to bring this victory to Ukraine as soon as possible.
I appreciate that there is a need for discretion here. I wonder, though, if you can help me understand if you are actively engaged in fighting or involved on a more strategic level.
I would say rather on the more strategic level. So actually, just a few words about my background. In 2014, I was chief advisor to the Ministry of Defense, and later I was also special advisor for 3 different heads of Ukrainian foreign intelligence. So yeah, I am in, let's say, the most strategic part of this confrontation.
I'd like you, we've asked you on the program to help us understand a bit more about what is happening in terms of foreign fighters. We know that President Zelensky issued a call a few days ago for foreign nationals to travel to Ukraine to fight against the Russian invasion. CBC News is aware of at least half a dozen Canadian veterans in various stages of joining the fight in Ukraine. What can you tell me about foreign nationals joining Ukraine's fight against Russia? Do you have a sense of how many have, for instance?
I heard that we had about 30,000 applications.
30,000?
Honestly, I had, like 30,000. Yeah, and but I have not seen any of them, on the ground yet. And I think that this is important, and obviously we have more than enough, human power and all of the Ukrainian men and a lot of women, they're ready to fight. But it's very important. It's very symbolic that we have that foreigners who want to share this burden of fight with us. Because again, it's completely clear that Ukraine is fighting right now not just for our freedom, but for the Western world in general, and all of the values which are important for Western civilization. And at that time, when a lot of Western leaders, they, let's say, don't have that courage to join us in that fight, as they should do, it's very important that citizens of that country stay ready to join us in that fight against actually pure evil, which again, this pure evil, fortunately, was not punished, properly in 2008 after Georgian war, in 2014 after war in Crimea and in Donbass, and that's why we have this situation right now. So actually, the West encouraged Putin to continue that aggression, and this is the price, the same, price which was paid by Europe during the Second World War. There is a huge difference at the same time, because a lot of foreigners, Westerners, they believe that Ukraine could be some sort of new Czechoslovakia, but as you can see, we are a little bit different, right? And actually, we are not going to surrender. And honestly, I think that the single problem we have right now is Russian nuclear weapon. Otherwise, we would probably finish this war, without any goal.
Much of what you've said does raise some questions, but I do want to ask you specifically about the role of foreign fighters, foreign nationals, and I want you to help me understand. You're saying 30,000 people is what you have heard. When someone decides that they want to participate in this conflict, they travel to Ukraine, then what happens?
Actually, we have that special military unit in Yavoriv. It's a city in the western Ukraine. And that special military unit, that International Legion, it provides all of the necessary procedures for people who want to join Ukrainian army. And these people, they would
We're having some difficulties here. We're just trying to reconnect. So unfortunately, we weren't able to keep going, but you're getting the idea of the 30,000 applicants that are on the way to the Ukraine via also Poland and other ways to get to the western part of Ukraine, where foreign fighters are having their own battalions. There's another story we'd like you to know about, actually through Fox Network, and it's going to be interesting to see this. This was shared here, and this is going after the oligarchy, the people, the billionaires who have benefited financially under Vladimir Putin, and Fox has the coverage of this.
Well as Russian President Vladimir Putin is now spreading to Russian-owned properties in New York City. Here's that story from Fox News senior correspondent Eric Sean.
They are elegant Manhattan mansions from the Gilded Age and super luxury apartments on Fifth Avenue. Fancy townhouses owned by Russian oligarchs who support Russian President Vladimir Putin.
The fact that people who are associated with the very regime that is brutalizing the people of Ukraine today are using our island, Manhattan, as a way to launder their ill-gotten assets. It is truly offensive, and we're not going to stand for it.
Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine is calling for Russian oligarchs to be evicted. He is pushing for the properties to be seized as a way to punish Putin and his cronies.
This is a city which has the largest population of Ukrainian Americans in the country. And this borough, Manhattan, has the most famous Ukrainian neighborhood, Little Ukraine. So this is personal to us here.
Estimates say rich Russians have poured hundreds of millions of dollars and more into Manhattan residences. This neo-French classical limestone townhouse off Fifth Avenue was built in 1915 for a prominent American steel magnate, but reports say it is now owned by Russian billionaire Oleg Deripaska, who plunked down more than $42 million for it in 2008. Deripaska is said to be worth more than $3 billion and is under U.S. Treasury Department sanctions for being an agent of Putin's government, but he has denied it. A few blocks away, these three mansions are being combined into one massive compound. Reports say they were bought for more than $90 million by the billionaire nicknamed Putin's banker, Roman Abramovich. Abramovich is said to be worth more than $13 billion and has not yet been sanctioned.
While people inside Russia have often suffered, now people in the grips of Russia in Ukraine are suffering under the hand of Putin and his cronies who are using Manhattan as a playground. And it's reprehensible. We want it to stop. And the way to do it is to put these oligarchs on the sanctioned list and to seize these assets. That is the right thing to do in the name of justice.
If you see a yacht, seize the yacht. If you have a house, seize the house.
Former National Security Council official Richard Goldberg of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies says Putin caught the rich Russians off guard.
I think it's quite clear from some of the public statements you're seeing from some of these wealthy oligarchs already trying to distance themselves from Vladimir Putin. They did not expect this. They're hoping that they can run a PR campaign to distance themselves. But the truth is they are absolutely complicit in Putin's crimes, and they need to be held accountable just as much as Vladimir Putin.
I'm Eric Shawn, Fox News, New York.
That was Fox News, and there's one other item that's happening here in the news, and that is with Facebook. Facebook has been banned inside of the Russia country, and it's all the news and media is coming only through Russia at this time, and it's just part of parcel of what's going on in Russia. So this is Ron here, and just updating you with the news. And if you have any comments below, all the news is owned by Fox News Organization and also CBC. And some of the news was also gathered through Yahoo News. And this war is continuing. People are fleeing to Poland. And in the news, as we can see here, Poland is taking up to 1.5 million refugees. So there is going to be a humanitarian crisis that needs to be addressed. So many things on different fronts. Again, Facebook has been banned because Meta data is denying Russia control of the social media. So Russia has banned social media such as Facebook, and all Western medias are now being filtered through the Kremlin. So if Russians want to know what's going on, they have to go through the Kremlin, and everything, as you've seen in the news, is being told from the Kremlin's point of view about how the war is happening. Thank you for joining me here, Ron here in Tokyo. We are updating you again with what's happening in the news. Thank you for joining me. Have a great day.